Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fantastic show, Two Dudes in a Room. My name's Nathan. I'm one of the dudes, and I'm joined here with
Oscar, the other one of the dudes.
And today, we're going to mix things up a little bit, and we're going to be asking Oscar all sorts of questions about his life and what's going on in his world. And we're going to do a longer format today. We're thinking maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half will give you guys a lot of content, let you enjoy our dulcet tones, our voluptuous voices, and we'll get out of here. How's that sound?
I mean, we won't get out of here. We're going to be, we live here.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I live here.
Yeah, you live here.
You could get out of here.
I could.
Okay, I was just saying,
But, be pretty weird if you were to kick me out after. You know what? It's fine.
Yeah, anyway, great. Well, that being said, Oscar, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, give them an intro, what's going on in your world, what do you do, what's your whole thing,
All right, I'm going to go in. So, hi, my name's Oscar. I'm a Scorpio. I was born here in Austin, moved around a lot of my life. I lived in a lot of places. Lived in New Jersey, North and South Carolina, and here in Texas. I've even had some time over in Japan for a little while. It's been a crazy ride. I went to high school in Japan. That was an experience. It was awesome. It was amazing.
There's probably less than 1% of people can say, in America, can say that they went to high school in Japan. I'd wager probably less than that, honestly.
I don't know. A lot of people. That's probably true. I wonder what the number is on that.
I don't know, but I feel like it would be really low.
Yeah.
And why were you in Japan in high school?
So, my dad was in the Air Force, and when I was living with him, we moved out there for 3 years, and it was just enough to give me from freshman year to junior year, and then my senior year, got out of there, moved back to the States.
I presume he was stationed there, and that's why y'all were kind of made more sense.
Yeah, we were stationed in Kadena Air Base. It was beautiful, great experience. If you haven't gone to Japan, go. I highly recommend it. I don't know. It's probably my favorite place that I've been so far.
Now, I have a question about this. When I was young, I never had to move around. I never was able to move and visit other countries.
Right.
I was pretty locked down. But I do remember when I had to move when I was young, it sucked because the friends I had made in the school I was at,
yeah,
I didn't know. You're a kid, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays,
dude.
You're an adult. You're like, it's just a move. It'll be fine.
So
what was that like? Were you actually looking forward to moving, or were you a little worried?
Oh, yeah, because at that point, I moved around all my life. I've never had the experience of going to a school and getting a group of friends and then going from high school or elementary school to middle school to high school. I've never had a long period at one school. So I think, let's see, if I had to guess, the longest time I've spent in a school would probably be my 4 years in elementary school, and then the next longest time I spent in a school would have to be the 3 years that I spent in Japan, and then each other time it was onesie twosies maybe.
So it wasn't like you were getting ripped away from these massive.
I never got really attached to people. Especially in school, man. I
can't talk. When I was in middle school and some parts of high school, I just didn't really get attached to people very often. Yeah.
No, yeah. I never really got, it kind of sucked on one hand, but it gave me, I think, a lot of skills that I even use now. I can, it kind of forced me to be a people person a little bit. Naturally, I'm an introvert, I would say. Like, I don't like spending extended periods of time around a lot of people, but if I have to be in a situation to where I have to meet and greet people, I can, and I can feel comfortable doing it because I've had to do it so often, you know, being the new kid or whatnot. And, you know, it was hard. I would say it was kind of easier in high school. It was harder in elementary school. When I was in elementary school, I kind of didn't, when we first started moving, I kind of didn't really understand what was going on. And like, I had made friends and stuff like that. I got used to.
You did normal kid stuff.
Kid stuff. And then I'd have to leave and then make new friends.
But you caught on pretty quick that like this was going to happen. And so you kind of adapted.
Yeah, so it kind of became like even like back in elementary school and middle school and stuff like that, I used to always I had like when I wanted to make friends, I always had I knew the kind of friends that I wanted to have, and I met most of those people in like the school library.
You said you knew that you knew the friends you wanted to have.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't typically hear a lot. Like, what do you mean you knew? Like, did you like sit down and think about it, or it was instinctual for you, or like?
It was like okay, the friends that I had, let's say I started in one school, and I met some kids. They were nerds, basically. Like, all the friends that I had were like really nerdy, or you know, the kind of outsiders, you know. We would always hang out in the library, or that's where I would meet people, because I would always be reading, or I would alys be, you know, just in the library hanging out.
What were you reading?
Oh, I read all kinds of stuff in
oh, really?
elementary school. Dude, I used to read like, you know, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I used to read back in middle school, like Percy Jackson.
Okay, so you were
Vladimir
a bit of a bookworm
Todd.
a little bit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I used to.
That was one of your hobbies, was like
dude,
reading.
I used to skip class and go to the library to read.
Damn.
Dude, I used
True
to read.
bookworm right there.
I used to read in class so much that the teachers would get mad at me because I wasn't doing work, because I was so caught up in a book that I was reading.
sorry I'm reading and like furthering myself.
They couldn't tell me, you know, it was kind of.
It's not like you were like messing with a tech deck or like on your phone or some shit.
I wasn't distracting anyone. I was just not paying attention.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like that, you know, it sucked for my grades sometimes, but like I honestly I felt like I could easily like catch up to what was going on, or you know, it wouldn't be, you know, that big of a deal.
Yeah, there
but,
wasn't an unrecoverable gap or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I would always meet people in the library, and whenever I would go to a new school, that was the first place that I went, and I would just go to the library and wait for the kids that would show up there, and then
you would just like see who came in. You'd be like, I wonder what kind of person that is.
Yeah, start conversations, and you know,
did you like peek behind the, you know, bookshelves and just kind of like stare at them as they came in?
Yeah, so I used to.
You know, they were like, oh, here's the library golem. He's like, you know what I mean?
I used to do the thing to where like, you know, if you're in a bookshelf and like you take a book and the person would be on the other side just staring at you. That was me.
Oh my God.
I used to see that a lot, actually.
Wow.
It got me into, you know, some scuffles here and there, but
wait,
you know,
hold on. It actually got you into like,
oh yeah, I mean, like
conflicts with people.
I mean, a lot of people used to say like stalking or whatever, but like it wasn't that. It wasn't like that.
A lot of people used to just, you know, say
they used to say
stalking, but you know,
hey, used to stalk or whatever.
Yeah,
but no,
right. You didn't stalk. You were just in the library watching people all the time.
Right. You know, I was the watcher on the walls. You want me there.
Right. Person in the walls watching you.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That was me.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously, yeah. So I didn't have a lot of friends, but but I did have the friends that I did make. I was really close with.
Real close.
Yeah. So super closer. We're almost like brothers.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah. But so during school, like I was, you know, I mean, I was kind of a little bit of like I kept my circle small, and for the most part, I was kind of a loner. So I would be off by myself, either reading or hanging out with friends, until like middle school. that's when I discovered like D&D from a friend that I met, and we used to play D&D all the time after school, or like during lunch breaks and stuff like that.
Okay, so you did D&D. You found D&D in middle school.
Yeah, it was my friend Sid. Shout out Sid. He was a big D&D guy, and that was
shout him out like that, dude.
Yeah, that was the first time I had experienced something like that, and I remember like just trying to make like all these. I didn't really understand the rules of D&D at the time.
Had you heard of D&D before that? Okay.
No, I had just.
So you had no preconceived notions at all.
No. Yeah, it kind of explained it to me, and like we used to not even just play D&D, but like just role play and stuff like that, and like come up with these characters and put them in situations and stuff like that, and like I really enjoyed it because like I could be who or whatever I wanted, so it was pretty awesome.
And especially after all that reading that you did, you had like probably things you wanted to imagine in your mind.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times I tried to make a Percy Jackson character or something like that, or just like.
Did you have any like?
Or like Maximum Ride, if anybody remembers that.
You said Maximum Ride?
Maximum Ride, yeah.
Oh, Maximum Ride. Okay.
Yeah.
So, when did you discover manga?
Oh,
in this whole timeline of events here.
Actually, my first manga, I want to say my dad is a huge nerd, super nerd. Dad, if you're listening to this, you know it's true. He was a huge nerd, and he was super into comic books. And I remember when I would go over to his house when I was a kid, he would have this big case of comic books and stuff like that, right? And he would pull it out, and he used to have them in these like plastic.
He was like a collector.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't even know what happened to that. I wonder if he still has it. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. But
damn, that sucks.
Yeah, but he used to have these big cases of comic books, and he would have them in the plastic like covers and stuff like that. And like he would let me like at bedtime, he'd like let me pull them out and like read them for a bedtime story or something like that.
Sure.
And I remember like always thinking that was so cool. And one time he took us to a comic book shop, and he let us go pick out some comic books. And one time I saw, I think my first ever manga that I ever read was Naruto issue 1 that he bought for me.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I read it and like fell in love with it. Oh, but I was also, before I got that, that's when I first had my first manga. But before I even got that, I was a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z ever since, I just grew up on it. I used to watch.
So you saw anime before you saw it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw anime on probably on like Toonami or Cartoon Network, and like
Toonami was awesome back in the day. Toonami was the shit.
So I was a big Pokemon fan when I was a kid. I was a big like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was huge for me when I was a kid.
You played Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Oh yeah. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to be the very best, dude.
Oh, hold on.
I used to pride myself on that. Like I would play.
Was this in middle school or was this in high school, or when was this?
All throughout. Like
okay.
I started in elementary school. Funny story. I started in elementary school. That was like when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out, and I had like a starter deck, right? Mm-hmm. And it was me and my friend Carmen. I think our moms bought us one of each starter decks, and I got a Yugi one. He got a what's it called? Kaiba starter deck. And he would always beat me because he would pull out Blue Eyes, and his deck was just better than mine. And then so I would always try to collect cards and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember like the Shonen Jump magazines.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
I never got to read them, but they like I knew so many people that would read them all the time.
They would have they would have like Yu-Gi-Oh cards in them.
Oh yeah. So if you bought a magazine, you had a chance to get
you would get a free Yu-Gi-Oh card sometimes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But one time I remember, I I don't remember how I got it. I think it was in the Shonen Jump magazine, and it was in the library. What happened is I would go to the library, right? The librarian would get a Shonen Jump magazine in like the first of the month or whatever, right? Once a month, and I would be the first one to get it. And
that's cool.
If I was the first one to get it, I could get the card.
Get the card. Yeah.
She didn't know there was a card. Oh. So I got one time they.
So you would just be there for the release. For the
yeah.
drop.
Oh yeah. And one time I got a Obelisk the Tormentor.
I don't know. What is that?
Which is like an Egyptian god card, and the Egyptian god cards are like, back in the day.
Yeah.
They were like the creme de la creme. It's like
shit.
I don't know. It's like getting, you know, Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
It's like getting a
like a Mewtwo
like
or Unknown
Zapdos
or some shit.
It'd be the equivalent of getting like Mewtwo.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like
that was the good shit right there.
Yeah, exactly. So
you
it was like
off.
it was super rare. It was super like strong and everything. It like couldn't be destroyed. And so like
So you hit up your friend who had that Zyba deck.
No, I was the king of the castle. But the thing is that at school you weren't allowed to bring your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so you had to do it on the DL.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I remember bringing my cards to school one day, showing off the fact that I had a Obelisk the Tormentor, and it was like a group of us that would play and stuff like that and trade and stuff. And I remember one kid, he was like, "Hey man, trade me Obelisk or something like that. Let me have Obelisk." And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna let you have
What
Obelisk.
can I give you for that?"
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna let you have Obelisk. I'm fucking. This is my guy.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. I won.
Yeah,
I won Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Oh, fine, Miss, so and so."
No way.
Oscar brought his school cards to school, and she took my cards. She took my Obelisk like this shit. Like
She just took them.
yeah.
Wait, she didn't suspend them from you.
She takes them and she says, "You can have it back at the end of the school year."
Oh
And so
my
this
God.
shit, like, I still remember the moment. Like I can still see everything perfectly because of how traumatic this experience was
God,
for me
dude.
as a child. Like I still blatantly remember
You just
this.
go
I
over
don't
there and
remember
look
the
at
kid's
that
name.
fucking kid, and you're just like,
Bro, dick move, man. Dick
coming for
move,
you.
dude. He told on me. He narked on me. He got my cards taken away. And like I was like
if I can't have that Obelisk,
bro, seriously, like in elementary school, I was like the perfect kid. I got like all A's and B's and shit like that, and like I did nothing
cause
wrong.
trouble.
Didn't cause trouble.
This
did
was the
nothing
one
wrong.
thing
I
that
was
you
perfect.
cared about.
It was the one thing that I wanted. It was the
Yeah.
one thing that I earned, and I was lucky enough to get it.
Yeah.
And so I waited until the end of the school year.
Man, that must have felt. When did this
Oh,
happen?
yeah.
Was this like at the beginning of the year?
This is probably like sometime in the middle.
jeez.
It doesn't.
So
You know, when you're a
had to
kid,
sit
when
there
you're a
and
kid,
wait.
when you're a kid, like
Time hits differently.
time is weird.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I didn't know how many months I was in school. I just knew I was in school. So I was in school, and it took forever to get to the end of the year, and I never forgot. I never forgot the teacher, and I never forgot what she took from me. And so I at the end of the year, I go to her, and I'm like, I don't know if you remember this, but a while
my
ago
cards.
you took my cards, and I was just wondering if I could have them back. And she was like, "Oh, I have no clue where I put those. I'm sorry." And
What?
yeah, and I lost it.
Are you serious?
I mean, yeah, and it was just gone forever. And it was the best part. You know, the best part about it is
What?
is for that it was like an anniversary. The reason that Obelisk the Tormentor came out in that Shonen Jump thing, it was because it was like the 10th anniversary or 5th anniversary.
Dude,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
what
or
if you
something
still
like
had that card
No,
today?
think about it. You're not hearing me yet. It was a 10th or 5th anniversary Obelisk the Tormentor. It was signed by the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! It was a special it was like a
edition.
special silver holographic background, and in the corner of the card it was signed by the creator. And it's gone.
Oh my God.
It's gone.
Yeah.
She probably threw it away.
So what's
or
her name and address?
Lost
You know,
it.
you trying to pull up?
I can't, dude. I can't even remember.
Trying to pull up, dude, and make
that's
her an offer she can't refuse.
dude. That's a problem that I have even to this day. I can't remember like names and faces very well because I would not want to get attached to people when I was moving around. So like now, like I remember the events. I can barely remember her face, but I remember what they did, but I don't remember names and stuff like that. And
That's interesting.
So like I don't even remember what grade that was in, but I remember it happened, and I remember the school and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that was like hard for me, dude. There's another time in middle school where when you get into middle school, people start judging you more, because they're jealous or whatnot of how awesome you are. And you might not know that, but like people like me know.
Right.
So
that's people were jealous of how
yeah,
awesome you were.
they were jealous of how awesome I was.
Do you think they
with
were
my
thinking
Yu-Gi-Oh.
that when like they saw you staring at them through the bookshelf?
Exactly.
Okay.
They just didn't know how to handle greatness. So
Right.
the one thing I used to do in middle school was like me and my friends, it would be like Sid and like a couple of other guys.
Okay.
We would all go into the library, we'd play Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. And so I went to Burnett. And I don't know if you know anything about Burnett.
No.
But Burnett is a hard school.
Oh, really?
They had a lot of
like hard as in
they had a lot of ne'er-do-wells that went there.
Oh, that's what you mean.
So there's a lot of gang activity. We couldn't even wear like red or blue shirts or shoelaces or anything.
I remember
like
that being a thing. I went to Henderson, and Henderson was not a hard school. I mean, we had.
Oh, you
stuff-
don't say?
Yeah, we had shit that happened, but it was not like it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I remember the red and blue thing being enforced there. I remember them
Right.
being like, no, you can't have like certain red shirts. You can't have like certain all blue outfits. Like,
Right.
So I think I got a little bit of that too. But
Which I don't know.
we didn't have
Thinking
criminal
back on it-
activity going on at
Right.
Henderson. Like,
Right. Thinking back on it, it's kind of ridiculous because what gang is going to go to like a middle school kid and be like, hey, you're going to be,
You're the
one
next
of us.
recruit.
Like
little Timmy, you got to go shoot up the guy down the street to become part of the gang.
You're definitely going to be a part of this gang, and you're not going to narc on all of us the moment you get caught.
Yeah, well, it's like the Spartans,
I guess.
You got to start them when they're young, and then by the time they become like little gang super soldiers,
Yeah.
where they're just like on the corner like nobody else,
Right. It never made sense to me, but But anyway,
But that's because you were so awesome.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just above it all. But anyway,
Right.
we had a bunch of kids there that like were just, I don't know, jealous of me, so they would like try and bully me or whatnot.
Yeah.
And,
You got bullied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because they were jealous of you.
yeah, jealous of me and my talents and how good I looked and like the fact that they were
Man,
like
if they had just
losers and
bullied you,
whatnot.
for normal reasons, I wouldn't have been mad at them. But
Exactly.
the fact that they bullied you because you're jealous, that makes them assholes.
Yeah, I know, right? Just get over it.
Yeah.
But so
It's
one
good
day
that that's the case because it'd be kind of hard to deal with if it wasn't from jealousy. Like it'd be
Right.
hard to.
Well, one day, I mean, they knew who I was and they knew what I was about and my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure
So,
all of them knew about your Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
One day, because I used to keep my cards in like a deck box that I kept in my backpack, and one day, somebody stole them out of my bag, and they told me that they took it and then left. And then like I didn't have another class with them until gym. And then when we went to gym, we fought over it. And and I got in trouble because we were fighting in school and I got suspended. But they made him give my cards back.
Would you have won that fight? Would you have won that fight?
Oh, if the teacher hadn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, really?
You know how I get down.
I don't know.
me.
I mean, I've never seen you fight, so.
I mean, yeah, you should be happy about that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Big swinger, huh?
yeah, big
Got
swinger.
hands.
Big swinger.
Wow.
I used to fight a lot in school, almost constantly, at least. Probably until high school, probably once a year, because of all the the jealous people
That wanted your Yu-Gi-Oh greatness, and they wanted your your
just jealous, man.
The acclamations that you had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So you said that while this is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your dad moves. He's stationed in Japan. Where was he stationed, by the way? Just
He was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, at Kadena Air Base.
Kadena in Okinawa. Okay, so he's in Okinawa. So where are y'all at? Are y'all staying in Okinawa at that time, or are y'all kind of like?
Most of the stories that I just told happened in Texas, in Burnet.
No, I know, but I mean, like, when you did move, like,
when
where
I
did you
did
stay?
move, where did I stay? I stayed on base. You stay on base.
I see.
You stay, like they give you a house.
So you went to school there?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, did you have to learn Japanese? I mean, how?
No. So if it's on like an American base, everybody there is from America.
Oh, okay.
I see. And so, there's a lot of Japanese locals that work there. Like they work in the shopette or the commissary and stuff like that. And but the school teachers, the staff, all that is all Americans. They're from what's it called? I think it's called like Dodds, but it's basically the Department of Education sends teachers out there, and they
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
cool.
the Department of Defense sends teachers out there, and they like that's like a job.
The Department of Defense does. Interesting.
Yeah, so you can work as a teacher that specifically goes to U.S. bases and teaches. So like my favorite teacher ever, Miss Singleton, she was my Chinese teacher. Now
that's syntactically ambiguous. I said that's syntactically ambiguous.
She was a white woman from Utah.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
she taught Chinese.
No longer ambiguous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but she was she was the nicest teacher I ever had. My favorite teacher. She was really cool and funny. But she had her husband was her husband was like a contractor or something. He worked on the base, and she also worked for the base as well as a teacher. And so if you want to be a teacher, and you can get onto these, there's like programs to where you can get sent to like Europe and Asia and stuff like that to go teach on American bases, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And actually, the school system of Okinawa was way better than any other school system I've ever been to in America. I liked it way better because it was as soon as I went to high school, because I was the only kid usually in my schools that had a parent that was in the military. I don't remember ever meeting another one outside of like the times that I was like on a base.
So why were the kids there at those bases then if their parents weren't in the military? Why would they be on that base?
No, I'm talking about outside of. So outside, like when I was going to like civilian schools, like to regular schools, like Burnet and Martin and things of that nature.
You didn't know anyone.
I didn't know anybody else
military adult. Or
parent. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they didn't know.
There were certain things
there were certain hardships.
But when you're in Okinawa,
when everybody's a part of the military,
you can.
Everybody like knows what it's like to have a parent, go away.
Does your dad make you shoot guns too? Yeah, mine does too. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like that, but it was like Does
your dad make you wear camo too? Yeah, mine does too.
That's pretty much what it's like.
Okay.
But it was more of the fact like, I'm really sad today because my dad's gone, and like you could talk to your friends about it, and like it'd be like, yeah, my dad's gone too, or like my mom, she got deployed or something like that, and like you had a network and a community.
You could actually talk with people about
it. And one thing I loved about my high school is that there were like no cliques. There was like everybody kind of hung out together. Everybody, got along.
Wow, that's rare.
Maybe I wasn't,
Maybe you were just so popular that you got in every clique,
I wasn't. I mean, but that was kind of how it was for everybody, at least how I saw it.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, it was just a great community, and so I really enjoyed my time over there, school wise.
So when did you all this is going on, right? You're in Okinawa. You've moved. You're really enjoying your experience there. You're getting to talk with these other kids, and share experiences with them. And the place I presume is pretty beautiful, and like it's a great experience. When during all this did you realize that you were bad at video games?
Never.
Oh, you never realized.
Next question. No. I mean, it's hard to like.
It's
that's
hard
like
to, it's hard to
that's like
realize
someone
that.
that's like somebody asking when did you realize that you had wings sprouting out your back. If it never happened, you never realized it. So.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
because I'm pretty good at video games. I played video games pretty
I
much
don't
all my
know.
life.
I
Yeah.
feel like the video games you play,
Wow.
you're not really good at. I mean,
No, see,
we can
here's
go through them. What about Apex?
Apex, I'm good at.
Didn't you get to like silver at most?
Wow, you're really trying to.
No, I'm asking. Like what?
Sandbag
No,
me
what
here.
was it? What was the highest?
I'm at
Gold?
platinum. I'm hard stuck platinum right now.
Okay, and platinum
But
is
that's-
just so you know, platinum is like the division that's one level more than the division that most people out in the world are at. So you're 1 point better than average, basically. So you're stuck there. That's like a wall for you. How long have you been stuck there?
It's a journey.
I'm the
I
one
would
asking the
say.
questions here. How long have you been stuck there? I just want to know.
So it's not that I'm stuck there.
Oh. Well, have you ever gotten anything above that?
No,
Okay, so how long have you been in platinum?
I mean, the first time I got it was probably earlier last year.
Okay, so about a year. That's not too long, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's really not that long.
So here's the thing.
I thought you were going to say like 2 or 3 years.
So here's the thing with Apex, right? It was the first person shooter I ever really gave a shit about. So
Oh, that's why you're not good at games, because you never played FPS when you were younger.
No.
You played Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon.
Yeah, I did play a lot of Pokemon.
No,
and
I know.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I
I played FPSs too, but
Did you play anything competitive when you were younger? Because
not Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty competitive.
I meant like, one that takes skill.
Yu-Gi-Oh takes skill.
So is that why you're good at Apex and you're hard stuck one level above the average player? Because you have all that skill that you got from Yu-Gi-Oh? Maybe that skill doesn't really transfer.
Okay, so it's not only with Apex, it's not only a skill thing.
A skill issue, yeah.
It's
Not only a skill issue, it's also...
It's not a skill thing, right?
Oh.
It's a
not a
I usually play Apex for like 2 hours a day at the end of my day. So I don't, and like it just takes a lot of grinding, and I don't have like a lot of time. And you could either
You're a real busy guy.
Yeah, and
That's why we're doing this
you
podcast.
either play with like randoms, or you're just not on it that day or something like
So
that.
all the reasons for you being hard stuck have nothing to do with you. They're all external factors.
to be honest, it's the game.
It's the game, and it's how busy you're so busy. You're just
if I had to put anything on it, I know I'm good at the game.
Okay, right.
The only possible explanation that I could have for me being where I am is that the game is trash.
Okay, so with that logic, I could see you saying that you're not bad at any game.
Yeah, because usually it's the
game's fault.
Yeah, it's
right.
the game's
No,
fault.
I totally
Yeah,
get it. I totally get it. It sounds like, that's I'm starting to get the idea of how your mentality works here with, the bullies being jealous of you and the game's fault for not being good at the game. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And also I was going to ask
because
you,
there's no other logical reason. Because
Well, we
I
shouldn't
know
get into
because,
that
because if we look, okay, take a step.
we shouldn't get into that
Let's take a
because-
pause. Let's take a time out here. Take a pause. Take a step back. And play with me in this space that I'm about to create for you. Let's take the variables. The variables is me, right?
okay.
The paragon, that's all that's good. The best of the best, the creme de la creme. This is also something you haven't asked me about
You're
yet.
really giving yourself a lot of titles. I don't know where these titles.
Let me give you a couple more. This is also something you haven't asked me about. I was actually in the military.
Well, I was going to get to that.
Yeah. I was in the military, and I was not only in the military, I was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Which is
Marines are known for being good at video games.
which is the 1% of the 1%, the elite of the elite.
I thought that was like the Special Forces.
No.
Or like the
that's,
Navy
that's
SEALs.
the Marine Corps.
I thought the Marine Corps were like. Well, no, I mean.
No,
go ahead. You're right.
Go ahead. You tell me. About
You're
the
you're the experienced one here.
That's what I'm saying.
You're the experienced
so
one
just,
here.
how about you just let me have
You're
my
right.
moment?
I'll hop off. I'll hop off.
All right.
Yeah, my fault.
So the elite of the elite, I did that. I earned that title.
Yeah, you earned it.
And for 4 years, I did my thing and I got out, right?
Yep.
And so, excellence. That's what I strive for in everything that I do.
Okay.
And that's why when you take that variable of me and then the other variable of like the video game, and then you could take the other variable of like my opponents, right?
Right.
And if you put those variables together and you run the equation and it comes out with me having a loss, you look at the hard facts. One, I'm amazing. Two,
So really, that's not a variable.
It isn't.
It's a constant.
It's a constant,
and it's just always good.
Yeah.
So that number's always good. Really,
Right.
the only variables are your opponent
and
or
the
the game.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
And so
I see. So when you were, training in the Marine Corps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm sure you had a ton of physical tests you had to do, and like, I'm sure there were lots of like, because I've seen the videos. Like, I'm a civilian, so I don't know what actually goes down.
Right.
But I've seen the videos of like them having to climb over the walls or like do the
Yeah.
crazy shit. Like,
yeah,
I'm like.
crazy shit like climbing walls. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Or like crawling under the barbed wire through the mud, like getting maced, getting the mustard gas.
Right,
like,
right.
It's like, okay, shit, that's a whole set of things. Like,
the mustard
you know
gas.
what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
triggering the C4. Getting blown up by the C4. Getting nuked.
Right,
Getting blown up by a nuclear
Got it.
warhead.
Right.
All that stuff to me is like, man, that's crazy. I can't. I don't think I'd be able to be pushed to those limits. So I just want to.
I think you could.
I think a lot of people, to be fair, like when they're put in that pressure and there's not really a way to get out of it, they find a way to get through it. They find a way to cope and like push through.
The way I'll explain it is that it's not difficult, but it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like if I asked you to, let's say, pick up that cup, right?
Right. Not
And
difficult.
Right, and hold it out. That is an easy task for you to do, holding it straight out in front of you.
Ask me to hold it out for
10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then it just becomes harder to do. Your arm starts giving out, you start shaking.
So really, it's a test of endurance. It's a test of perseverance. It's a test of
I mean, it's
stamina.
not. I don't think that if like the average person, if they just, because that's all Marines are. We're normal, everyday Americans.
Yeah,
that just
right.
choose to answer the call.
Well, I thought you were the top. It's okay. It's okay.
I was speaking generally. Obviously,
Well, where I was going with this was when you got frustrated
Right.
at those workouts, right? Or like, did you just like blame them and then just like take a break or not do them? Because obviously it's the Marine Corps' fault. It's not yours that you're unable to climb that wall. It's the wall's fault for being so damn high, or it's not your fault that it's hard to crawl through that mud or whatever. It's the mud's fault for having a lot of friction. Because that seems to be the mentality you have when we play games. It's not your fault that you may have died in the spot in the game. It's the game's fault because that enemy was there, or like you said, right, the other variables. You lose an Apex game, which happens all the time, and the guy you're fighting against, it's his fault. It's the opponent's fault. It's so I just want to know like how that mentality worked for you in the Marine Corps, because it seems like if it was synonymous, you wouldn't do very well.
I mean, they teach you about accountability, right?
Oh,
if
okay.
something is your fault,
That's a refreshing thing to hear from you.
If you have accountability, it's very important. They bang this on that. They bang this into you.
Okay.
A lot. Pause. So
I wasn't going to say anything. I don't know what goes on in the Marines, so
So you'd be surprised, but they teach you about accountability, and if something is my fault, I'll 100%. I'll take accountability.
You just don't think so. So you think it's.
But when something's not my fault, I'll also not take.
So if you
for it. Yes.
are given a set of enemies in the game and they beat you,
right,
and the person
it depends on how it depends on how it happens.
The person next to you,
I would say it would depend on how it happens.
Well, let me just. You wanted to talk about variables here, right?
Okay, sure.
Let's make how it happens, which you just said it depended on. Let's make that the constant.
Okay.
Let's make how it happens the constant, right?
Okay.
You got you, and you got another player next to you, and they both get approached the same way by the same enemies, same scenarios, same weapons, the game is the constant here, right? Mm-hmm. The person to your right is going to win 9 or 10 out of the 10 times that they try that encounter, and you're going to win
10 out of 10.
4, 5 of those times, right? So if that happens, you can't really say that it's not your fault because there's no difference in the game between you and the person next to you.
I would say another thing that the Marine Corps taught me was how to adapt and overcome. And so I would do that. And if that didn't work, obviously it's the game. So then I would then stop playing the game.
You quit. You don't overcome. You just quit.
No, I mean, you have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
You fold. You prefer me to use that terminology? You fold.
Well, it's just a term.
Okay, what would you prefer me to say? Walk away, let it go, give up?
I advanced in reverse.
You're going to have to explain that one to me.
Yeah, I advanced in reverse. I went forward, but the
with
other
your ass
direction,
forward. So you went ass backwards is what you're saying.
I turned around
with your ass
and
facing,
then advanced. Yes.
Okay. But so you just kind of leave. You don't overcome.
Well, it depends on.
You go. This game can't hurt me. I'm in real life.
Well, it depends.
I'm just gonna.
Well,
I'm
if we're
just gonna
talking about video
overcome, and you walk away.
Yeah. Well,
that's
if we're talking about video games,
that we were talking about. That's what this whole conversation
we're
is.
talking about video games.
Right. That's
here.
right. Yeah.
It's just a game, right?
Oh, I see.
And the whole point of the game is to have fun.
Right.
And if I'm not having fun, what's the point of me playing the game?
Yeah.
Might as well stop.
Might as well.
If this game
Sure.
doesn't entertain me,
But, I'm just saying.
if the reason that I pay $70, which is a lot of money nowadays,
that's the new,
right?
yeah.
If the reason that
Don't
I
even
pay
get me started on that.
$70 is to get enjoyment out of a video game, and I'm not getting
Well, it
enjoyment
just seems
out
like
of
there's
it,
a.
why?
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of games that other people get enjoyment from that you have to walk away from.
That's fine. I'm sure there's a lot of games.
No, listen. I'm not judging you for that. I'm not judging you for that. But I just want you to know that we have a term for that.
What are you judging me for?
I'm not judging you. This is a no. Look, dude. 2 dudes in a room. This is a judgment-free zone. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
It's a judgment-free zone.
For sure.
But I'm just saying, you need to accept the fact that means that there's a lot of those higher skill games that you generally walk away from at a higher frequency because it's not fun for you. And I'm just saying. You don't want me to list them because I'll list them. But I'm just saying that puts you in a different category. We have a word for that. You already know the word.
I assume you want to say the word. That's why you're setting it up. So go ahead, say it.
I mean, What's
the word?
It's not. I'm not trying to be offensive.
Say it.
It's just we call them casual gamers. That's the term. Is they're casual gamers. They play Madden, they play FIFA, they play Apex, they play Fortnite, they play all the popular games that kids play nowadays. And when it comes to real games like Dark Souls,
real games,
or like
I'm sorry, I didn't know that I was talking to the arbiter of video games here.
Oh no!
Please tell me what are the real games and the fake games that I should stay away
from.
Sorry,
maybe real wasn't the right term.
You said it. That's what you meant.
Well, what I meant to say,
I feel like
what
people
I meant to say was games that have a higher challenge.
I feel like you didn't, but you did not say that. You said real games. I take that as games that you respect.
I'm just saying.
And
yeah.
And you do not respect Madden or FIFA or Apex.
Well, we just have a little test here in the gamer culture where if you've beaten certain games, then you do gain respect. It's like proving yourself in the Marines, or proving yourself in a gang, or proving yourself in any industry or field. When you accomplish a certain thing that's regarded as a challenge by the community, you gain a new level of respect.
Okay, that's true.
And I happen to have accomplished all those things.
Let me ask you this: have you accomplished the same feats of excellence that I have accomplished in my games that you have in your games?
The games that aren't regarded as particularly challenging,
right?
I haven't really played those games.
Okay, so you haven't played those games
because I look for a challenge.
So you don't know how challenging they can be.
Oh no, we do know how challenging they can be. Like the community knows.
Oh, no, I'm not saying this ethereal.
Well, I was saying that
hive mind that we call the community of video game, because that's
gamers don't exist. That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that they do exist.
Oh,
but I'm saying is that you're saying that the claim
I'm making right now is that games like Madden and those kinds of games
are not
considered
difficult.
as particularly challenging. And
right.
I don't think that's that crazy.
And
of
what I'm saying,
take.
what I'm saying is that
You're telling me
at
they
some
are.
yeah at some level at some at
You're saying they
levels,
have challenge in them.
they're
Yeah, I mean, it's like eating a cracker can be challenging, right? Because you might choke on it.
It's
right?
just like anything. You could be. It's basically what level are you playing that game at?
But here's the thing: if I were to play those games, I would do.
Like Pokemon,
I would excel.
Let's
if I were to play those games, I would excel.
let's take Pokemon.
I can play Pokemon. I can play Madden, right?
No, okay. I'll give you an example. Let's take Pokemon for example.
Not a competitive.
Okay. Let's take Pokemon for example. Pokemon is a relatively simple game.
Pokemon does have a competitive scene, so I'll give you that.
Pokemon has a very competitive
I'll
scene.
give you that.
And if you were to, if I were to play you, me and you, Nathan and Oscar, were to play a competitive game of Pokemon,
like gamer cards,
I would wipe the floor with you.
Oh yeah, because I just started. Right.
Right. If you were given the same amount of time as me to play,
I'd be here.
No.
And you'd be here.
This is an audio.
You're right, and I think
medium,
everyone
so-
listening can assume what I did with my hands. If you were listening
Okay.
and you assumed that I said I'd be higher up, ding ding, you were right.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Because
you would not
I
be.
experienced.
Why? Because
I
you
wouldn't
don't-
be.
No, I would wipe the floor with
So
you.
you
Why?
don't
Because
think-
I have more experience in that game than you.
Yeah, but you said if we had the same time.
I know.
If that was the control, if our time spent on the game was the constant,
Right.
You think that you and I would be at the exact same level?
No,
Okay, so which one of us would be higher?
mine.
Oh,
Me.
you think you would be better than
Yes.
me if we both had 2 years
Yes.
to learn Pokemon?
Yes. I mean, competitive.
Bro, I'll go learn Pokemon right now.
Dude,
It'll take me
you-
2
you
weeks.
could
It'll
not-
take me 2 weeks, bro.
I'm telling you, you cannot beat me in competitive Pokemon because you just. It's a simple game, but at that there's different levels. Sure, if you're playing like 8-year-olds, sure, it's it's.
When do you
easy
want to
or
let them know
simple.
that I beat you? Like on the 4th episode, the 5th episode, when they
That you-
check in again, or
that you beat me in what?
in Pokemon? Because you give me 2 weeks, bro. I'll learn everything there is to learn.
Oh, you want?
I'll memorize. I
didn't mean for this to be a challenge, but if you want to challenge me in competitive Pokemon, I fucking dare
I'll
you.
memorize. I'll memorize everything there is to know.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take a brief aside here, and it's just you and me talking right now, right? Nathan's gone.
I'm still here. I'm right.
Listen, don't pay attention
okay,
to him.
Okay.
If he takes this challenge, I'll embarrass him, and I don't want to do that.
Yes, you do.
Because
yes, you do.
I don't want to do that because I value our friendship, and I fear what would happen to our friendship if I beat him as badly as I think I am. And I kind of, you can kind of tell he's a very competitive person, and so he doesn't really take losing well.
It's one of those qualities that makes
Yeah.
you good at games. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really take losing well, and what I would do to him, it would not be for the faint of heart, ladies and gentlemen. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
But what would happen if I beat you? Now that would be embarrassing.
impossible.
That would be embarrassing.
That's impossible.
But what if?
That's like asking, hey, what would happen if I catch a meteor outside? It's
not
you're
impossible.
saying silly things.
But
like,
there's a probability, and it's not zero.
okay, yeah, sure. If you beat me, I don't know.
You'd feel pretty
I don't know.
shitty. You'd feel pretty shitty.
It'd have to encompass me having like some sort of grand mal seizure at the point to where I was,
see.
the weakest. And so I don't know. And then
Well,
somebody else
it sounds
played
like
for
I'm
me.
gonna have to prove to you what it actually means to get good at a game very quickly.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to demonstrate for you
Okay.
the
Hey, man.
qualities.
Hey man,
of a person.
if you wanna play me in competitive Pokemon,
You know, it doesn't
that's-
have to be Pokemon.
that's-
It can be a game of your choice. I mean, you've already come to my side and played a couple games of my choice. Like,
Right.
you played some Dark
Yeah,
Souls.
some things,
you played some Demon's
that
Souls.
I
Don't say Madden, please, because I really couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to myself.
I know you
honestly.
couldn't.
I
know
I hate it,
dude.
and I just couldn't.
Okay, so even more than Pokemon,
I just don't
Travis-
like sports games personally.
Travis, if you're listening to this, understand that I'm sorry, I might have to come out of retirement. In Madden, I am the best player that I have ever met. There was a time when I first here's story time with Oscar, right? When I first joined the Marine Corps, they send you to a place called MEPS. MEPS is in San Antonio. I originally come from Austin. So what happens is you have to drive down there and they put you up in a hotel, right? And in that hotel is a bunch of other people who are joining the military. In the hotel, there's like a conference room where they set up a bunch of Xboxes and PlayStations and stuff like that for service members to, pass the time while they're waiting there at MEPS. So when I went, me and my friend Travis, we were both enlisting during the same time. And when me and my friend Travis went down there, we played Madden. And of course, like always, I beat him. Not probably, I did. I beat him. And there were other people who were there watching me play that tried to step up to me. I destroyed these people. I was putting like 40 on their heads every game. It was crazy. It was nuts. Like it was just daily life for me, right? And it was so bad. It was two guys in particular. I beat them back to back and like 21 skunked them. It was so bad to those two guys, right? They grabbed an extra controller and the two of them played on the same team versus me. And I put up 25 points on them in the first quarter of the game and they quit. That's the level of excellence that I'm talking about.
So here's what I want to make clear here, right?
You couldn't do it.
Just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Yeah.
This is what I want to make clear. There's a lot of games out there, right? I mean,
right.
There's racing games,
Yeah.
there's party games
Sure.
like Smash.
Absolutely.
There's fighting games, there's
100%.
FPS,
Tons of games.
everything.
Yeah.
I feel like there are certain genres where if you and I had the exact same amount of practice time, you would do better than me at. And I feel like there are certain genres that if I had the same amount of practice time, I would do better than you at.
That's a fair assessment.
I'm just saying, there are certain genres that you and I are better at each.
That's a fair assessment.
And I just happen to think that if I put my mind to it, if I really put my mind to it, the genres that you would be better at me at are very small. Because I've throughout, your thing was Yu-Gi-Oh! Your thing was manga. Your thing was reading. Your thing was the military. Like, those were your things, right? My thing was video games. It was always video games. When I grew up, that's what I did. I didn't read. I didn't draw. I played video games. Mm-hmm. Everyone played video games, but I played video games like a motherfucker.
Right.
I played them all day, every day. I started out on Melee. I started out on Halo.
Yeah.
I started out on FPSs. I was a little baby with the headset on playing FPS games.
Hey.
I played GoldenEye on the N64 like a motherfucker.
Okay.
So those FPS games, right? That's in my blood. Those fighting games, that's in my blood. And it just so happens that in that process, I learned that if you get up and walk away, yeah, you're right. You win in that little situation. You don't have to play that game anymore that day. But you lose in the long run. Because in the long run, you don't train that ability to overcome that obstacle. You train the ability to give up. And so that's why when I play games that challenge me and that are difficult, I keep going. Especially if I've made an effort to get good at the game from the beginning.
And that's a great...
So when it comes to something like Pokemon, I'll learn that shit.
Right.
I'll learn everything there is to learn.
True.
I'll figure out the most broken combos, the setups that are banned, right? I'll learn the competitive rules of the game.
Right.
I'll fail, but I'll eventually get to a point where the tables will flip, and it'll be me winning most of the time and you losing most of the time. And that's because all those times where you get up and walk away, I keep going. That's why.
What I'm saying is that the gulf of time and experience of me playing Pokemon versus the gulf that you would have to cross, it's...
Think of it like this.
Borderline insurmountable.
Think how good I got at Smash over a span of time versus how good you got at Smash over a span of time.
Yeah, but that's because I didn't want to...
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I just naturally am that way.
And that's fine.
Which is why with Pokemon, I'll also be that way. I don't have to sit there and play it for a decade like you did. I can play it for a couple of weeks. I can play it for a year, and I can get there. Because
I'm telling you,
I'm moving like that, you know?
I'm telling you, even if you played for a couple of weeks, a year, whatever, it wouldn't. You could probably get good. You could probably get very good at the game, but the way that I play, and I don't know, I just don't see it. Sure, if I stopped playing, if I got out of, like right now, if we played the meta right now,
I don't know anything about Pokemon.
Yeah,
you'd beat me right now.
Exactly.
I don't know the first thing. Even if you were rusty, you'd beat me.
Absolutely. If I were to play the meta right now, I probably wouldn't do very well. But as soon as I put time in and learned the meta and picked up my tactics again and got really back into it, I don't think, if I put my mind to something, I put my mind to something. That's the difference. Is you put, I think
I don't know, man. When I put my mind to something, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I tend to do pretty well. I just don't do that very often.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I don't put my all into anything that I don't care about. I care about Pokemon. That's why I do it. I care about football. That's why I play Madden, or that's why I used to play Madden. There's, points like Madden. I was really good at Madden, but I quit Madden because it just made me so frustrated. Like the game is bad.
The game kind of sucks.
The game is bad.
Yeah.
It's a monopoly. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. It's the only football game out there. So
all those super challenging games that are revered as challenging in the gaming community,
just
don't play
just
because
don't interest me.
Right, conveniently, like all the hard ones happen.
To be honest, it's not the fact that it's hard.
No,
or not.
it's
that it just doesn't interest
you. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I play I play single player story games most of the time. I play
that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. I'm out here lifting gamer weights. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out here playing games I spent most of my childhood playing games that weren't single player story games. They were competitive games.
That's
why I know that if I put my mind to it, I don't know.
Like you said, people just have, like you said earlier, people have things that they're better at than other people. Mm-hmm. That's all of us. We're not all perfect at everything.
No, some of us are casual, and some of us, know how to get good at games. That's exactly right. And some people don't. I agree with that 100%. I think that's the case. And speaking of you being, a Marine in the military, at what point did you know that was something that you wanted to do?
There was never a point where I knew that was what I wanted to do. I basically got talked into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So originally, I wanted to join the Air Force, like my dad and my grandfather. But for anybody who's tried to join the Air Force, they know it's not the easiest process. Why? Because the Air Force is the most populated branch in the military, right? So they don't really need people to join. So the recruiters aren't very pushy. They don't try to make an effort to recruit people, if that makes any sense. They don't have to. It's like because people come to them.
So yeah, right.
If your quota is
it's a buyer's market.
Yeah, if your quota is 10 people and 20 people show up every day,
you're chilling.
I get my 10 people and then I chill for that month.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened to me.
It's very saturated.
Yeah. So that's basically what happened to me, and I would call. I would go to the place and try to get in, and it never really turned into anything. At the same time, this was when I was going to Hendrickson in my last year of high school, and I was in the RTC program, which is or the JRTC program, which is a Marine Corps JRTC program, and I was telling my teacher at the time, the experience that I was having with the Air Force, and he was like, "Hey, man, I don't know why you're wasting your time with this when we could just get you a Marine recruiter in here, and you could go to the Marines tomorrow." And I'm like, yeah, well, I never really saw myself as a Marine. I never really thought that I could, be. It's not really my style or anything like that, because I just didn't believe that I could be a Marine. And the things and the stories that I heard from my dad, who, you know, let's say they were just a little exaggerated, but yeah, the horror stories that I heard from him and like the stuff you see on TV and movies and stuff like that, I just didn't think that it was for me. I'm not, you know, the Action Jackson kind of guy.
Right.
And so he ended up kept hounding me about it, and he was like, hey man, did you hear from the Air Force? You know, and I'd be like, no. And so for weeks this went on until one day, I guess a Marine recruiter was just happened to be in the classroom, and he introduced me to him, and he was like, and you know, he put on his you know, his charm and stuff like that, and he, you know, talked to me. He was like, hey man, just take this preliminary test and just see where you land. And he pulled out these little chips that they have, and like one of the chips they have like travel, one of the chips they have like financial stability, and like
no way, dude.
And like one of the chips they had like adventure and stuff like that. And it like that shit worked, obviously.
Damn.
And so like, oh no, the last thing that pushed me over the edge is like the Marine Corps recruiter was there, and he asked if I wanted to talk to him, and I was like, you know what, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of trying to do this Air Force thing right now. And my teacher goes, hey man, what are you so afraid of? And I remember that to this day. And I was like, afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. I can do it. I just don't want to. Same thing with video games,
right?
I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, what are you afraid of? And like, I hate when people think that I can't do something when I can.
I think most people feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I can. When I know I can.
Right.
And so I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do it. Bring him in here. I'll do it. And I'll, you know, do my best. So we brought him in. I took the test. You know, I did well. And I just started going through that process. And that's practically how I, you know.
That's how you got in.
Got in, yeah.
Damn, that's cool. So really it was just a combination of, you know, multiple factors that kind of pushed you. And then finally that one last, like, him because basically he was trying to taunt you, you know. That might have been, who knows, that might have been a tactic from him.
He was a former recruiter.
Yeah, so, you know, he was like, what are you afraid of? And you're like, ah, shit, you know, now he's calling me a chicken or whatever. And you're like,
right.
You know what, fuck it. But now that you've had that full experience, I mean, I know you, and I don't think you regret joining the Marines. I don't think that's something that you regret.
Let me tell you something. That is a very
I want to know. That's my question, you know?
Do I regret joining the Marine Corps?
Yeah.
It's a very hard question to answer.
Well, let's split it up then. Let me ask you this first. Do you regret joining the military in general?
No.
Easy no.
No.
Okay. Do you regret joining the Marines?
It's just a tough question to answer because I went through a lot of stuff that I've even repressed.
Yeah.
Or tried to forget.
Yeah.
A lot of bullshit days, a lot of long hours, a lot of disrespect, a lot of almost dehumanization.
Yep.
I mean...
And you think that would be different in another branch?
Yeah.
Oh, you know it would be different in another branch.
100%, dude. 100%.
Were the benefits... I mean, it's just a question of did the benefits outweigh those things?
But that's the thing. The redeeming qualities of the Marine Corps, I feel you can only get in the Marine Corps.
Sure.
And that is that you're around Marines. And Marines are the best. They're the best. I mean, if you're a Marine and there's nothing like it, man. I have friends from the Marine Corps that know me so well. We're on like a another level.
Yeah.
I have friends that like,
You're like family.
if something, it's almost more than that. I would say, because like if something happens in a room, right?
Yeah.
That we both like, say somebody falls or something like that, or somebody says something that reminds me of something that somebody else said.
Right.
I can like look at my friend, and he would look at me, and like without exchanging words,
all are on the same page.
we would have a whole conversation with just our eyes.
Yeah.
And there's nobody you can trust more. There's nobody that would have your. I mean, obviously, I love all my civilian friends, and and I'm not taking you guys for granted or
no,
like,
I don't take it that way. I get it.
It's just different.
Level.
I mean, if you go through that with somebody, like,
right,
it's just on a different level.
It's interesting that you talk about this, because I remember someone telling me that typically the way that there's like multiple ways that people can bond or form bonds with others.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the strongest ways that seems to like meld with our mind is you and another person going through a similar struggle together and coming out.
Bonding.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
That's like another one of the reasons that people will want to go out drinking with friends, because getting through the drunkenness, getting through that night is a psychological form of that, you know?
Right.
It's like a camaraderie where you get through the shit together, you get shit faced together, and then you come out of it. So
yeah, and there was a lot of that.
That creates a lot of that creates a lot of bonding over time. You know, I can imagine that doing that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just So
it's hard. It's hard
a lot
for
of
you
people.
to say,
A lot of people ask me like, would I do it over again? And I would, if I got to do it with the same people. But if I had to do it over again and it wasn't a guarantee that I get the same guys, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth it for me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you didn't know.
I would just go into, because the pay is the same as any branch. The benefits are the same as any branch. Right?
Yeah.
The experience is worse. The living situation worse. The working situations worse. The hours probably worse. That's the only one that's like maybe. Yeah. It's just not, on the surface level, it's not great. But the people and the experiences that you have, the stories that you tell later on, that's what made it worth it for me.
Well, speaking of stories, I had one that I wanted to know from you that you talked to me about. And for those listening, Oscar here told me that so there's a Oscar and I happened to play some D&D. He kind of, him and my friend Bob also kind of brought me into it. And there's a recurring character in Oscar's campaigns that he creates that goes under different names, but we like to call him Paper Pete. And Paper Pete is a character that he's like, the best way I can explain it is, you know that kid in your classroom that right as class ended, they reminded the teacher that they forgot to give out homework? That's Paper Pete. Like, he's like, you know, he's just annoyingly by the book, goody two shoes. And my question for Oscar that I want to hear now is, did you have anyone like that in the Marine Corps? Was there anyone that, oh my God, they were just so goody two shoes that it screwed over everybody else?
So I'd like to preface this real quick. I don't think that I don't think that Paper Pete was like that. He was never meant to be like that. But
he just kind of ended up that way.
That's how they interpreted it. And so, you know, I guess we're just rolling with it. But I do have a person. I did have a person like that in my Marine Corps career, and it's a funny story. I won't say any names, but in the Marine Corps, in my first year, when I first got to my first duty station, I had to go to what's called PMO, which is like the number one reason why I wanted to get out of the Marine Corps. PMO is basically the military police.
Oh.
You go there, and they take you from your unit. It's random because the Marine Corps is so low on people. They need to pluck people out of their jobs to
They're
go
like
do
the
other
opposite
jobs.
of the Air Force in that way.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
1% of the 1%, baby.
Yeah.
They pluck people from out of their jobs and put them into PMO because PMO is like really hurting for people. So what you do when you get plucked from your job is you get out of your job that you wanted to do, that you went to school for, and that you've been training to do for all that time, and you go to PMO and you sit on the gate and you take people's IDs, look at them, make sure they're the same person, and hand them back and protect the base, right? And that is a very, 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 very boring job.
And how long do you have to do this?
You have to do that for 6 months.
Oh, you just like get put on that.
You get put on that for 6 months, and you get put that. You have to do it in the rain. You have to do it in the snow. You have
That's
to
your
do
job,
it in the heat,
regardless of what happens.
That is your job, and it was not voluntary. I got plucked out. I got put in that, right? And so one of the people that I met in PMO was this guy. It was so at the time I was a Lance Corporal, which is an E3. That's our rank, right?
Okay.
The guy who I'm talking about was an E4. He was a corporal, and
he's one above you.
Yes,
got it.
And his job was PMO, so he was naturally.
Does that mean that he signed up for that?
Yeah, he signed up for PMO.
Okay, this is sounding perfect to the character.
Right. He signed up for PMO.
I'm not trying to say anything about people who sign up for PMO.
Oh no!
I'm not trying to offend anybody.
I'll say it. It's pretty accurate. Everybody in the military hates the military police. It's fine.
Oh,
it's like a thing. Okay. But hey, sorry, not sorry. Cool. But the thing is, that dude was like always on his P's and Q's, right? He was like, if you like didn't shine your badge well enough, he'd let you know about it. He'd be like,
haul him out of
hey,
their ass.
Yeah, dog. Exactly like that. He'd be like, oh, hey, did you learn your he would ask you about your like general orders randomly. He'd be like, and your general orders are just it's just like little knick-knack ticky-tack stuff that he would bring up every like that. He
was a real stickler for the rules.
You're supposed to know, and you're supposed to do, but they don't really. I mean, they're important and they have, you know, a meaning, but like
I get it.
At 4 a.m. because we used to get started. We used to have to show up at like 4 a.m. So we used to wake up
your PMO station.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I used to wake up at 3 a.m., go at 4 a.m., start staging, and this dude would just be there like, hey, what's your 6th general order? And like, I'm like, dude, like, come on.
Like quizzing you?
Yeah. That's what he did. And if he didn't get it, like you get talking to and stuff like that. And he'd just be like, oh, how did, he would just ask you about like your weapon and stuff like that. And like all kinds of stuff. And he was just like the worst. Right. And he would follow, but he was a good Marine though. He followed all the rules and stuff like that. And so you can't really,
I mean, he definitely sounds like he followed all the rules.
He followed all the rules, and like he, just wanted to make sure everybody else is what the Marine Corps wants. That's like the perfect
Marine.
That would be like if somebody wrote it down on a piece of paper what a Marine was supposed to do. Yeah. He would be doing that, right? And so it's fine, and it's like, okay, you're supposed to.
Yeah, you can't argue with it. But it's like, come on, man.
Come on. Yeah. So, hey, people call me a shitbag, but fuck, But like, yeah, he was just on you all the time, and it wasn't just me. It was like everybody, right?
Yeah.
And, so I remember one day, we come into the office. It was like 4 a.m. We're getting there. We're readying up. Part of the readying up process is you have to go and check out your weapon, right? So you get like a pistol or a M16
there's like an armory.
There's like an armory in the building. And so you'd go to the armory, you would get your weapon, you would make sure it's all good, and then you would get ready and go out onto the, gate, right? So we get our weapons, and we're waiting in the hallway. And what they would do is they would randomly breathalyze you to make sure that you weren't drunk on duty or whatever.
Yeah.
And
did they do this for everybody, or was this PMO only?
It was.
I mean, obviously they drug test everybody, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, certain jobs would have you do it. Normal job, most people didn't have to breathalyze randomly.
Gotcha.
But
gotcha. It's rare.
Yeah, okay. Unless you were doing a piss test or something like that, they can. But,
yeah.
It wasn't an everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
And PMO, they did that probably they would only take a couple people, and they would do it, once every couple weeks or something like that, right? And we were waiting in the hallway, and this dude, he gets pulled to do the breathalyzer, or Corporal Pete, we'll call him.
Yeah.
Corporal Pete gets pulled in to do the breathalyzer, and he blows, and he pops red.
Oh.
Yup.
Oh.
Mr. Pete himself, Corporal Pete himself, pops red on the breathalyzer, and he already had his weapon, which is a big no-no. So you cannot
So he
having
gosh.
a weapon and being
under the influence.
Big no. So basically, I can't say for sure, but he had to leave that day, and I think I'm almost 90% sure that kid got kicked out.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're not. No.
That's the problem is, there's all these rules and all these T's to cross and I's to dot. But the one that is important is the breathalyzer.
And to be honest, I was
Did you feel remorse for him?
I was happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a bad thing, but
How badly did you want to go up to him and go?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll never lie to you. I was happy that day. I have to be honest. I don't know if it was the right thing to be happy for someone to lose their job or something like
It's
that.
not
but
that, though.
Hey, you should have followed the rules.
How badly did you want to go up to him and go?
It wasn't like that. I didn't hate the dude. He was just mildly annoying. I wasn't gonna rub it in his face or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was already losing pretty much everything. So
yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah. You don't want the guy to lose more than he has to, but
yeah, I'm not a dick.
Interesting, man.
But yeah, he got kicked. I'm pretty sure he got kicked out because I didn't see him anymore after that. I don't know if they transferred him or whatever, but yeah.
Well, do you I feel like I've asked you a lot of questions, Was there anything for the remainder of our time, since we got about, 12-ish minutes left here? Were there any topics that you wanted to bring up, or honestly, were there any questions you had for me?
Topics that I want to bring up.
Or questions you have.
I don't know. I don't really have any questions. I mean, to be honest, I just enjoyed the experience of just talking, just kind of hanging out.
You do enjoy the experience of talking. I can definitely tell. Yeah, you do that a lot.
Yeah, I do talk a lot.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, hey, I'm not saying anything. Again, this is a judgment-free zone right here.
Right.
This is a judgment-free zone.
Right.
So,
Okay.
There's nothing for me saying that you talk a lot. I'm just saying that,
it is a podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between the podcast and, just normal conversation. It makes sense to talk a lot in the podcast because, like you said, it is a podcast, right?
So you think I should be seen, not heard? That's what I'm getting out of you.
Should be seen, not heard?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting out.
Is that like a phrase? I feel like that's a phrase from something.
Yeah, it's just a saying.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you should be seen, not heard. I just think that you really like talking.
Yeah, but No, I mean, did you have any other questions? I mean, like,
Yeah, no, I did have a couple of other questions. What's going on in your life now? Tell the people, like, what's your current, what
Well-
you're trying to do, current goals, current struggles, current accomplish, like what's going on in the episode of Oscar?
the episode of Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, currently I'm going to school at ACC. I'm taking these RTF courses, which are basically radio, television, and film. I'm trying to get this certificate in podcasting and trying to grow something of my own, and this is another dad saying, for my legacy, just to have something that I can be proud of and leave behind. And if it can grow into something great, that's awesome. If it's not, it's just me hanging out with my friends, having a good time. And, who doesn't like
What's
doing
wrong
that?
with that, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
The cool thing about these podcasts is that you end up with something that you
Yeah.
can listen to later, right?
Oh, yeah,
and you
and-
can share it with other people.
And you can point back into a snapshot of time.
Right, where
and-
you said that I wouldn't beat you at Pokemon.
Yeah,
It'll be
he-
great to point back at that
Oh,
later,
man.
because I think you're gonna.
Oh, man.
I think
ladies
you're
and
gonna
gentlemen,
regret that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Okay. I won't even get into that right now, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. How about I say that? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh, we will. And when we cross that bridge, when I cross that bridge,
Sure.
because you're not crossing that bridge, I'm gonna be the
right.
one at the end, the other side of the bridge.
Right.
We're gonna turn back to episode 2 of Two Dudes in a Room. Time code 38 minutes and 42 seconds or whatever the fuck, and I'm gonna just be like, see that right there where you said you would, it's gonna be great. It's
Right.
gonna be great for me.
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what. If you beat me, I'll come back on this podcast, and I'm a man of my word. If I'm nothing else, I'll come back on this podcast and admit to everybody that I was wrong about Hershey.
Well, there needs to be some conditions here, right? And they should be recorded here, because obviously we're not saying if I beat you, because that only gives us one fight,
Okay.
So I want you to set the conditions. Pokemon's your game. I'm coming into your home territory here, and it would be
This is fun. Actually, this is fun because
Because
this is
it
the
would be
first
wrong of
time-
me to-
This is the first time I'm going to be playing you in a game that I know I'm better than you at.
Well, when you do what you've done, which is, like, I don't know if y'all know, but Oscar has volunteered to play Dark Souls. He's never played a Dark Souls. He played
Yeah.
like a couple minutes of Demon Souls. He's very new to the series, and they're not really his types of games. And
I hate 'em.
He's volunteered to come in and play them, and that's where kind of my source of him not being good at games comes from, is watching him. But so but now that you've done that, Oscar, you've unlocked that from me. Does that make sense? And so
Sure.
that's why I'm like willing to do that, as long as
Sure.
it's not Madden or Fortnite or whatever you play. So for Pokemon,
why not Madden? I mean, it's an easy game that you don't respect. Why not Madden?
I have a principle.
Oh, it's a principle now.
Yeah,
I thought
I have a principle.
I thought that whatever challenge that gets put in front of Nathan is nothing but a road bump to success.
it is,
And
it is the
it's
case.
all about overcoming the challenges with doing the things that you just
And
absolutely
wouldn't it?
can't stand
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. And wouldn't it be convenient if I could just say that I just didn't like it like you do? But I'm not
You
saying
can.
that. No, but I'm
No,
not gonna. What I'm gonna tell you is, what you said is right. Yeah, here, just loosen it. Yeah, what you said is right. Okay. But I have a principle. I have one little principle, and that is that I do not play sports games. That's it. That's my principle. I don't play FIFA. I don't play Madden. I don't play NBA. I don't play, even if it's Mario Strikers. I don't play sports games.
I had a principle. That I didn't play Dark Souls games.
It wasn't a principle. You just were like, I don't like Dark Souls. It wasn't.
I
It
don't
wasn't a
like them.
principle.
I don't enjoy them. It never seemed like anything that would interest me. There's not really a reason for it. It just didn't seem like something that was up my alley.
But you've been popping off now that you've been.
Hey, might find the same thing in Madden, but
Oh, so you are kind of enjoying it a little bit.
it's it's all right. I mean, like, it's
Well,
not.
if it's all right, why would I do Madden? I mean, if you're not really enjoying it and it's only all right, then it seems like I'll get the same experience if I try Madden. So why would I even do it?
Okay, well, you don't have to. I'm not the one advocating for it.
I have a principle. I don't play sports games on principle.
I advocate for freedom of choice.
No. You're the comedy genius, and I'm the schedule advocator.
Okay.
We literally established this last episode.
I'm just saying that if somebody does or doesn't want to do something, it shouldn't be forced on them. If you don't, if you don't want to play Madden, you don't have to play Madden.
Yeah,
you can play me in Pokemon.
For sure.
That's fine. I know.
It's a principle thing. It's a principle
I know it's a
thing.
daunting task to beat me in Madden. I understand. Don't
do what that recruiter. Don't do what that recruiter did. Don't do what that recruiter did.
I'm just saying.
Don't do what that recruiter did.
Yeah. Things that are hard for you, I just get for free. In certain things, in certain areas. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like you don't have to go into you don't have to go into that area.
I just don't know what would happen to you.
You don't have to challenge yourself.
I just don't know what would happen to you, Oscar.
I'm just saying you don't have to.
No, I understand.
You don't have to push. You don't have to challenge yourself. You can stay in your comfort zone.
I get it. But I just don't know what would happen to you.
With what?
Well, I mean, if I were to beat you in Madden, that's like your whole identity. I mean, if I were to beat you in Pokemon and in Madden, I just can't imagine what would happen to you.
It'd probably absolutely devastate me if you were to beat me in both. But I'm so confident that would not happen. I'm 100% confident that.
But we're going to start with Pokemon.
But let's start with Pokemon.
Is that not something you're looking forward to? I mean, is that not good enough?
I'll set the terms.
Yeah,
I'll set the terms.
Because I can't just come in and...
There's a website called Pokemon Showdown.
Oh, cool.
It's a website where you can build any team, and you can have them at any level, and you can set their EVs, IVs, whatever, and you can pick any move or whatever, and you can set it up however you want it, right?
Okay. We're
going to do an OU match.
What's an OU match?
OU means overused. That is the term that they put for the Pokemon that you can. It's like a tier list, right? Okay. Overused Pokemon are like the standard good.
They're like meta
Pokemon.
picks.
Yeah, it's like the meta, right? There's Ubers, which are uber-used Pokemon, which are like the legendaries and like the really broken
overpowered
Pokemon that have like different abilities that are just broken.
There's no reason to not use them.
And you can only use Uber Pokemon in Ubers. You cannot use Uber Pokemon in OU.
It's like leagues or like weight classes.
Right,
or
exactly.
Like,
it's more akin to a weight class.
Okay.
Right? So you can use you can use.
So we're gonna do.
Yeah. Any Pokemon in a category below it can be used in the category above.
So we're gonna do OU.
Yes.
Overused class.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna do Pokemon Showdown OU, and we're gonna have 3 matches.
Oh,
three battles.
3 battles. So this all hinges on 3 battles.
Yes.
Can I practice? Can I like try to learn the game,
yeah.
or do I just have to pick it up and have 3 matches?
I mean, what do you want the time limit to be?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's no way I can. To be honest, there's no way I can practice as long as you had.
That's what I'm saying.
So why don't
that's why it's so ridiculous.
Why don't you let me tell you? Why don't you let me tell you when I'm ready to have those 3 battles? Why don't you let me go and practice? There's no way I'm going to practice as much as you.
Okay.
And let me tell you when I'm ready to have those matches. Does that work for you?
That's fair and fine for me, bud.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. I don't know how long it's going to be before I have those matches, but it's definitely not going to take me a decade. And I'll do my best to learn them, and we'll have 3 matches. And eventually, when we have those, we'll be talking about it on this podcast, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, if I lose, I'll come back on this podcast, and I'll tell everybody that Nathan was right.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
No, I will.
You really don't, though.
This is to sweeten the pot.
You don't have to. I don't gain anything from that.
That's okay. I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. But the question would then leave, what do I get if I win?
Well, you get to say that you were right. You get to come on this podcast.
Oh, no. I say I was right every day.
Oh, I know.
say I was
I
right
know.
all the time.
I know you do.
Every situation. Where
Every
I'm
situation.
Right,
You always talk about it.
I don't miss a beat to tell somebody that I was right.
Right.
No, Nathan. If I win, you have to say I was right. That's what my conditions are.
And how do I have to phrase it?
I mean, you can phrase it however you want to.
Okay, let's make this more interesting.
Okay.
The winner of these 3 matches, right? Because it's a best of 3.
Right.
Right. The winner of these 3 matches gets to decide what the loser will say.
I don't think that's fair. It doesn't come from...
But you get to decide what I say.
I want it to come from the heart, Nathan. I don't care what you say. All I need you to do is get the message across.
So you just want me to be able to come up with whatever?
Yeah. Hey. If you wanna like, chicken out and do like a quick, he was right. That's fine.
I don't think I'll have to say.
It'll just reflect poorly on you, I believe.
I'm not gonna put too much thought into it because I don't like to practice or plan for things that aren't gonna happen. So I'm not gonna really think about what I'm gonna say.
Then don't think about it. Just let it be a surprise.
But you might want to think about what your phrasing is gonna be because you don't want to sound like you didn't expect it.
Right.
Because I mean, let's be honest. Like,
right.
I'm probably gonna win.
Okay. Sure. We'll see.
Okay. Well, Oscar, it's been a pleasure having you for this 1 hour and 30 minutes of time.
All right. Thank you for having me.
I wish I could have asked you more, but we'll have more episodes. So,
for sure.
So that being said, thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed.
And just like always, you don't know what anybody's going through, so be kind to everybody. And have a good one. We'll see you later.
Ciao.